Hello and welcome to the Streetscape Update. I'm Kim Best, your host, dedicated to keeping you informed on Goldsboro's news and activities. Joining us today will be Josh Price of Daniels & Daniels Construction, Randy Guthrie with the City of Goldsboro Development Services Director, and Meg Gernaat, Promotions Coordinator with the Downtown Goldsboro Development Corporation. Let's get started. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us, and let's get started with some updates on the Streetscape project. The people have been working on your crews diligently on the Ash Street intersection, the traffic circle. Can you give us an update on where we stand with a timeline and what those crews have been working on up until this point?
I sure can. We have completed all of our underground work. The water lines are complete. The electrical is complete for Progress Energy to come do the power switch over from overhead to below ground. We have milled the asphalt, and we have started to pour back some curb in the circle, and we are looking to start forming the curb for the median and the stamped asphalt walks and everything on the surface improvements. We're looking at probably about 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll have that intersection completely finished and reopened for traffic around the clock.
Oh, we're excited about that.
We are too.
I'm sure you are. Little by little, we're moving along, and I think the citizens are going to see a huge difference.
You've got it. In
the infrastructure as well as the looks of the traffic circle. Well, let's move down to the Mulberry Street intersection. Give us an update on where we are with that work and what we can expect on that as well.
Sure. We've closed the Mulberry intersection to all traffic in order to start doing the work in that intersection. The tie-ins for all the utilities are back in the Center Street section, but we need to go in now and we need to demo the asphalt and do the earthwork to get the grades back where that intersection will tie into the new Center Street section.
Do we have a timeline on that?
We do. We're looking at that taking 2 to 3 weeks also, and we're hoping that when we go back and we pave and stripe the Ash Street Circle, we're going to pave and stripe that intersection also. So that will also open that intersection back up for traffic. It'll be completely finished, and that'll kind of alleviate some of the traffic issues we've had around the project.
Right. Well, give us some details of the whole entire project, the whole phase 1, where we are with our landscaping and so forth.
Sure. Landscaping, we've started the landscaping, doing the underground for the landscaping. Putting in sleeves for the irrigation system, putting in landscape drains for the tree pits, and the drains for the center island. We've put in water services for the businesses at the corners. Water services have also gone in for the median, for the spigots that are going to go in at the planter seat walls. And we're going to be starting some concrete work on the outside bands and work our way towards the curb and gutter. There's a lot going on in the sidewalks underground. And we want to kind of work from the outside to the inside so we can get all that done. I know a lot of folks have seen the stone we've put down for the streets. It's starting to look more like a road.
It is.
A road again, and that's a good thing. That gives us a good ground to work off of, especially with all the rain we've had. We haven't lost a whole lot of time.
That's excellent. Well, can you give us a timeline, and I know we've talked about this before, of the entire project, where we stand, how far out are we?
Sure. We are still looking at November 5th. I think November 5th is a realistic day for us to be finished. It's going to depend on weather. I mean, we could go a couple days, past. We could finish a couple days early. We would like to finish it as early as possible and get everything open. But I think the 1st of November is a realistic goal.
And last but not least, how about the burying of the power lines?
Okay. We are waiting for Progress Energy to give us an answer on when they'll be available to come out and convert those services. We're ready for them, but Progress Energy has a little bit of a backlog, and as soon as we can get a firm answer for them, we'll do that electric switch over. Everything will be underground. You'll see the power poles come out, and that'll all be finished. And tying back in with that, we're also going to have a water line tie-in. When we switch over to the new lines, we're going to attempt to do that tie-in in an afternoon, after 5 o'clock, do it after hours, so we shouldn't impact anybody.
Okay.
I know the water services for the surrounding businesses and the buildings are all fed from different lines than what's going in and servicing the rest of the street. With the valves we have in it, it should isolate to just affecting City Hall. But then again, we're going to do it after business hours, and by the next morning when everyone comes into work, you won't be able to tell anything's happened.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for all this information. So we have a lot of exciting things happening in the next couple of weeks.
We do.
That we'll all see going on downtown. Thank you for sharing, Josh. We appreciate you being here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Meg.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to jump right into it. Presently, we're in the midst of phase 1 of our Center Street project. Phase 2 is going to be happening soon. Can you tell us some basic information of how phase 1 and phase 2 will differ?
Yeah, phase 1, we had the advantage that all of the affected businesses are on the corners of the construction site, so we could close that entire block down and those businesses could still be accessed by the public. Phase 2, city leaders know that they're going to have to do differently. We have a lot of businesses that will be affected in the construction site, so we cannot close that entire site down. You know, when they design the plan for the next phase, they're going to take into consideration that one side of the street needs to remain open, you know, that access needs to remain open for people in the community to get to those businesses.
Well, and you speak with these business owners on a regular basis. Have you heard concerns or comments regarding phase 2 of this project and how it will affect these individual businesses?
I have. We've heard from, you know, people who just patronize the businesses and also business owners that, you know, phase 2 is really going to affect them, and, you know, are they going to close the entire section of street down? And like I said, we know that we cannot do it that way, and I really like hearing those comments from people because it shows that people are informed, they're plugged into what's going on, and you know, we want nothing more than for those businesses to thrive. So we know that we absolutely have to do phase 2 differently.
Well, tell us about, back to phase 1, tell us about the businesses that are presently being affected now and how their reactions have been.
They have been extremely supportive. You know, with any project like this, you expect affected businesses to be apprehensive because that's their livelihood. But Pet Village, the Little Bank, you know, City Hall and Direct Carpet, they've all been wonderful. You know, they're really excited to see what the street is going to look like when it's finished, and they've been great to work with.
Well, thank you for joining us, Meg. We appreciate the update, and we're always interested in what the businesses have to say and what their concerns are. So thank you for giving that information to us and the general public, and we'll touch base with you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Thank you for joining us, Randy.
Thanks, Kim.
Will you give us some information regarding the Mulberry Street closure and where we are at this point and what we can expect in the next couple weeks?
Yeah. Well, the Mulberry Street is closed to allow for the old section of Mulberry Street to be tied into the new section of the streetscape so that they will blend together. It's going to be closed for approximately 2 to 3 weeks, and it is the road pattern has been designed so that you can come up Center Street, and there's a crossover over the median that was designed with some asphalt, so there's a turnaround to go back down Center Street the opposite way. There's some barrels and some signage and some striping to guide you down that way to keep the road open and flowing, as well as the sidewalks are open for access to City Hall.
That's what I was going to say. So the sidewalks are open all up and down this project. None of those have been closed off at all. So all the business accesses are still there through the sidewalks.
That's correct. You can still walk from City Hall down to the John Street parking lot. Parking's available on Mulberry Street to access the Little Bank or City Hall or the other businesses that are affected.
Right, so down at Direct Carpet and Pet Village, everything is open from start to finish.
That is correct.
Okay. How about a completion date for the project?
Well, it's anticipated that the project will be finished the first week in November, approximately November 5th. Of course, that depends a lot on weather and other conditions, but that is our anticipated date at this time.
Well, overall, does the project seem to be moving along about like you expected?
Pretty much like we expected. Obviously, with construction, there's always, you know, unexpected surprises, but we're pretty much on schedule.
If you have a question, comment, or an idea, email us. We'd like to hear from you. You can also like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, and you can view the City of Goldsboro's video clips on our YouTube channel or website. I'm Kim Best, your host, and thank you for joining us today to learn about what's happening in your city.